Perfect. So welcome everyone to day 2. We are going to do a quick recap, and I'm really excited to host today's session. Today is about sales, and sales is something that I love to talk about and redefine for people and shift people's mindset around sales and what sales actually can look like. So that is why today is one of my absolute best days. This topic is something that I really live for. So today is going to be amazing. I hope that I'm going to value your time, so I am going to go in the content, but please add any questions in the comment section. At the end of today's session, if there is any questions, maybe that you feel still hanging around, we have time to cover them at the end of this call, okay? So make sure if there is any question, even if it's not about what we talk about today, add them in the comment section so I can address them, okay? So we're also going to talk about the content in itself, the what I call decision-making content, how to use your virtual event to claim and frame what it is that you are doing online, a kind of outside of the event in itself. But we are going to cover first, just one thing that I want to kind of mention is that I know when I talk about running virtual events, I mean, I have done a lot of them. And when I started out, I also felt that I was nervous and I didn't know if I could do this. Okay. But I want to just share with you that you are ready, even if you might feel, if I'm not ready to do this, I can just tell you, being ready is a lie, because that is never going to happen, because we're never going to be ready, right? So you just need to do it. And when I did my event, as I told you yesterday, I was living in my truck, and I didn't have a laptop in the truck, so I used my phone on a little tripod. You don't need more. That is the beauty with virtual event, that you actually don't need more. And when I quit and I started to doing this full time and I started to travel a lot, I used my laptop and I didn't have any type of external camera. I used a camera that was on my laptop and a small ring light. And now I do have a camera, but it's a small one that I put on the laptop because I still travel a lot. So I want to travel light, and then a small ring camera. You don't need anything else. Okay, people don't lean in and listen more just because you spend $2,000 on a camera or some fancy lighting or something. They listen because of your convictions. They listen because of your beliefs. They listen because of your energy you project and the way you lead the room, how you inspire them, right? And now more than ever, I'm just going to say that people buy from people because they already bought the other stuff, okay? Already bought into the other stuff, and people want real. And they're going to take out their hardworking cash and they're going to hand it over to you because they trust you, not because you spend 2,000 on a camera, okay? So I just want to mention that because I know we talked a little bit about the journey everyone to becoming a bold speaker that everyone goes through, but I do know that a lot of feelings can come up if we haven't done any type of virtual events or speaking and things like that before. And today is going to be all about showing up imperfect, okay? Taking imperfect action and do it even if you feel you're not ready, or do it even if you feel that you need more practice, and just execute, because the running reps is so important, but you can never ever run. And then at the end of this session, I'm going to talk a little more deep about how we work inside of the Launch Lab and how you can join that. But before we start, I just want to say thank you everyone that is here live. We have a lot of people watch the recordings. We talked about that yesterday, how the market has kind of shifted and there is a lot of people watching the recordings. So that is something you should take with you. Make it easy for people to watch the recordings. I have them on just one page where I add all the recordings. If it's just one video or multiple video, I add them on the same page. So they're easy to find. They don't need to go to different links, for an example, that people hosting the recordings just on YouTube, for an example, and then there is different links and it can be confusing. So I recommend to do it as simple as possible to remove as much friction as possible. That is why we run it on Zoom. When I started out, I didn't do that. I run them in Facebook groups. So back in 2017, 18, 19, 20, I would say, I used Facebook Live and I streamed in a Facebook group. And then in 2021, 22, I started to use LinkedIn a little bit more. And then I moved the main session outside of Facebook so it was easy to use a Zoom. Yeah, give me a sec. So he guide with 50 ways to promote your event. Absolutely do not use 50, but there is a lot of ideas also for in-person event. If you host maybe an event at your local village or town or something, so you can use a lot of strategies as well. Absolutely, there's the link. You can download that. So today is going to be all about that. And we are up until Sunday midnight Eastern Standard Time. So up until Sunday, you can watch the recording or catch up if it's something that you might have missed, okay? Because I know that we run for approximately 1.5 hours, and not everybody can maybe stay for 1.5 hours, okay? So a quick recap, first of all, and congratulations for everybody that have kind of done the work and look into what you're going to do. I talked yesterday about the client spotlight, so I wanted you to show you. I also wanted to show you something that you can take with you as well into how you do your programs. I find when I buy programs, and maybe specifically membership, is that there is a lot of things, because a lot of memberships just add stuff all the time, and all of a sudden it grows, so it becomes so comprehensive that you have no idea where to go and when, right? And that I have been those 12-month incubators as well, that where you have so much information that it's so overwhelming. You absolutely get no result because you don't know where to go. And when I created the Launch Lab and I wanted to be able to help more people, so more people could actually be able to join, I wanted something that didn't lock people up for 6 months or 12 months, because some people do their event within 30 days, right? They go in, they execute, they run the event, and boom, there is the event, right? And some people need more. Some people need 2 months. Some people need 3 months. Some people have been clients for me for 12 months and they are still creating their first event, right? So people are so different, and they have different how much time they have, and they come from different places. Some have an audience, some have a smaller audience. So I wanted something that was on a little bit on a different levels, where people could be as long as they wanted, instead of locking people up. But the problem with that is that when people are on different stages and you have a lot of content, people don't get the result because it's just too much. There is no direction inside that you would have maybe in a mastermind or something, where you put people in a very strict direction. So what I created, and I'm going to show you the client spotlight as well, is very simple roadmaps to follow. So if you come into the Launch Lab, you have 3 pathways. I call them roadmap, but it's almost like a pathway that you are going to follow. One is for audience growth. It might be that you have an audience, but you want to kind of boost it up a little bit, or you have 0 audience. So you want to create a little bit of an audience before you launch to that audience. And you can absolutely do that at the same time as you build your event. I'm just going to say it, but it's a pathway on step-by-step how to grow an audience, create your community, for an example, if you want to have that, how to use LinkedIn, how to use Facebook to grow an audience. And it's very step-by-step, creating content pillars, videos, reusing, going live, create events and things like that on social media. So that is one pathway. And another pathway is for those who want to launch as quickly as possible. So this is something that I have worked with a lot inside of my program, is we built and execute on the same time. So for an example, I could this week create lead generation content, and then next week I go out and do lead generation. And when I do lead generation, I go back and I create my sales page. So that you actually execute at the same time as you do. That is the fastest way to get an event up and running. And you can easily run an event in November by using that strategy. Because then you don't build it first and launch it later. You launch it at the same time you build it. That is one pathway. A third pathway is, of course, to build the event and launch it later, right? And you can reuse it, the same strategy, to build the entire cycle in everywhere from when we talked about visibility, the runway, all the way until the sales sequence. It's a cycle. You can build that entire cycle out with everything that is inside, and then you run it, right? So there are 3 pathways inside the Launch Lab, but I wanted to show you the client spotlight quickly, because I got a question how that looked like, because not a lot of people do it. I did it once and I fell in love with it. So I think it's so fun to run it with our clients. So let's see here. Here we have, this is the client spotlight. I hope you can see my screen, that we run in October. So this is the last clients that is in the cohort for 2025 in the Launch Academy. So here we have David, for an example. So everyone gets their profile picture or a headshot, their bio, social media. So he have only LinkedIn, but here we have Gail. She have LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And then there is the event. So here is his logo, is his title for his event, who the event is for, and a little information. And if I click here, we come to his landing page. And then we add all the clients that wants to participate. We don't force anyone, of course, but we add them like this. And then we send this page out to my audience, emails, social media, across platforms. But what I always also do at the same time, and we run it for 2 days, so it's very high. We do all at once, which means I usually boost my Facebook with 50 times the view that day, because a lot of people love to look at this. And there is a lot of people liking and commenting on these posts, because it's fun when you celebrate clients, right? It's fun. So what I do on my Facebook is personalized posts like this as well. So this is just an example. This is Guinevere. And then I add Spotlight October, a little about her, and all her links here on my social media. So everyone gets a personalized post as well. So that is the client spotlight. We focus usually 1 day on social media and 1 day on emailing our list. So this is a really fun game, a really fun thing that we do every quarter. But as I said, if we now have some people joining the Launch Lab, we have time to actually run one of these at the beginning of December, and give everyone a chance to create their landing pages or wait lists and be able to be in this. So we could run it in the beginning of December. We do have time inside of my business to do it. So that could be fun. And then here is quickly the roadmap. So this is how I have structured it. We can't click here because this is, I am inside the builder, but here is the different roadmap. So this is in the build and launch. So this is something you build and launch at the same time. And this is step 2 in building out an event, which is the framework and structure. So step 1 is clarity and optimization. Then we go in and build the framework. So what it works is that there's a little description here, what the framework is. And what I have done is this. So this is where this program and membership is very different compared to a lot of things, because there's a lot of stuff inside I'm going to show you. So it's going to be overwhelming. So here you start here with the core foundation, and then you go through tech stack, launch types, launch planner, and launch tracker. And when you have done that, you move on to either a 1-day webinar masterclass or multi-day. And then you just go here and you just go step, step, step. And it opens up just that training. So you don't need to go in any modules or whatever. You're going to be here 99% of the time. and just follow phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and it's 6 phases. And here is everything: registration, social media, templates and stuff like that, building a community if you want to have that. So this is how it's built inside. So we eliminate any kind of confusion, not knowing what to do and when and stuff like that, because that is very common. And what we do this week is, if you go to the page, is this. It's the clarity and messaging. It matches this. And then it's the live selling framework. And then you set up the design of the event, what we're going to do today. Lead generation, we talked about yesterday. Sales, we're going to talk about today. Sales tracking, this is how to track sales and start doing sales between. Audience growth is something important between, and the mindset. So that is follow the step-by-step structure that is built inside here. Because if you look, I'm going to show you quickly. I think I can open it. If you look at this, you can absolutely see how much this is inside. This is also in my builder, so it looks a little bit different. But you can see there is a lot of pieces. We have welcome, of course, roadmaps. Then we have mindset, clarity, audience growth, one-day event, multi-day event, scale and sustain, what you're going to do, how can you scale your event, and all the replays. And if I just threw you in here, you would be very confused. And that is why the roadmaps are there. And those works really well. And it might be that you want to kind of take that idea into how you run your program, because we have seen very good success with our clients when we put that inside of my program. So nobody gets overwhelmed. Okay. So joining, I'm going to talk more later. I just wanted to show you the spotlight, and also that you see what we do inside this workshop is exactly what we teach inside there. Of course, there is the entire puzzle, but it's still the same pieces. So this is what I talk about here is not something we don't teach inside. Right? What we're going to talk about today, decision-making content, that we teach in details inside how we build this up, for an example. So I really wanted to just highlight how it looked like. So I'm going to add the link so I don't forget in the comment section to join. And we have the doors open until Sunday. But a quick recap. I don't know if everybody have the workbook from yesterday, otherwise out with pen and paper. So yesterday we laid the foundation for building a successful business using virtual events. We talked about that it's the fastest and simplest way of scaling. Now you have 2.5 months left of this year, but also we're moving into 2026. And the market isn't getting any quieter. AI is not going anywhere, right? We are going to see even more impersonal stuff, which means that virtual events are just going to grow. It's just going to grow as a way of selling with high energy and personal connection. Okay. And we talked about yesterday that the market kind of shift from this hype and automation marketing market into a more connection and trust building market. And you need trust to sell. Trust is your biggest currency when it comes to sales, right? If people don't trust you, it doesn't matter if you sell a $50 product, people are not going to buy it anyway. They want to trust the person that you are the person that is going to lead me. You have the knowledge to lead me, right? You have the energy that I want to be in, because when you do event, you invite people to this energy, right? So we talked about that kind of this trust recession, how buyers don't just buy the result, they buy into you, right? Your conviction, your energy, your leadership. And then we talked quickly about the baseline of a business that is scalable, that you need new people coming in, attract new people, like lead generation. And for that to work, you also need to grow an audience, because you're going to invite people from that audience to becoming a lead. So if you never grow an audience, there is no one to invite. So then we're going to stop grow. So of course, above this kind of 3 steps, there is going to be an audience growth continuously, right? But we have new people coming in. We call it lead generation. We built trust with those people. That is lead nurturing needs to be there. Then you need to have a way to build trust with people. And then we have to turn that trust into paying clients, and that is lead conversion. And we talked about how our virtual events do all these three things at once. That is why we can save so much time by running them, especially when we do signature event and we do same event over and over in a cycle. And then we talked about the event cycle in itself. We had, first of all, what happened before the event. It's what we call the runway. We have the launch week, and then we have the sales process. We're going to talk about the opening cart, but there is an entire sales process that runs over multiple days. And then we have the reset where we go back and look at, okay, what did we do good? What do we need to change? Kind of a debrief. And then you have that cycle that runs on a clockwork like this over and over. And then we moved back and looked at specifically the runway and how that runway looks very different today compared to before. Before we just did lead generation, we didn't do anything else. We just invited a ton shit of people and it worked really well. And that doesn't work anymore. So we need to boost visibility. We need to be out really strategically to get more eyes on our content before we start inviting people. Then we invite people, lead generation, it's invitations. Remember that? We talked yesterday about that. It's invitations and we invite people. But then we need to start building trust before that. And a couple of emails isn't just enough. And there needs to be some kind of trust building process or nurturing process inside of that runway. Today, we're going to talk about the middle part, the launch week. So that is what we're going to move in to today. So we're going to build on that. And then we talked yesterday how important it is to build, to have the right people, right? So, and the more event you run, the more clearer you're going to be in your message. And the more clear you are in your message, the more of the right people are going to be in the room. That is why it's so important to run the reps. Okay, so that is pretty much what we really quickly what we talked about yesterday. I wanted to kind of just remind you, because what we did yesterday, we are going to build on that today, because now we move from the first part, the runway, into the event in itself. Okay, so out with pen and paper, or the workbook if you have the workbook, but out with pen and paper. If you don't have the workbook, on the replay page, I've added the workbook on the top, so you can just download it. There are 2 pages to create your own event, where I think it's 6 steps that you focus on to, and we're going to start filling it out more in details today. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is how to claim, frame, and position. And what that looks like is that now I want us to look in the calendar because I want you to take your cycle and put it in the calendar. And the reason why I don't do that is that I want you to burn the bridge and put it out in the world that you're going to do this. Okay, that you are going to do your event. It doesn't matter when it is. It can be in late October, November, December, January, February. It doesn't matter. Just put the date in the calendar. Put the date in the calendar. That is the first thing when it comes to claim and frame, because we can claim and frame how much we want to, but if we don't execute, it's going to lay on your shelf and it's not going to make any money in a folder on your computer. Okay, so put a date in the calendar. For an example, we decide we are going to run an event first week in December, and then you write down what are you going to sell. So let's say we sell one-to-one coaching. Okay, so now we have decided first week in December, I'm going to sell one-to-one coaching. And what type of event? So we touched this yesterday. We talked a little bit about it's important to pick the right event due to making sure that your audience that you want to work with, your dream client, actually can and want to join. Like, people do only things they want to do. They don't do things they need to do. They do things they want to do, right? So I said that you want to look at what you want to do. That is number one. Do you want to do a 1-day event? It can be a webinar that is from 30 minutes to 90 minutes, even 2 hours. Some even go 3 hours long, right? But it runs just 1 day. Or do you want to do a multiple day, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row? You decide. It's your event. You decide. There is nothing right and wrong. You pick the one that you want to do. You ask yourself, would this work for my dream client? And the last thing you ask yourself is, how much trust am I able to build depending on the investment of my offer? So if I would sell, now I sell a $145 per month membership, right? But if I were to sell an offer that was $14,000, I would probably be here more than 2 days, because I would feel that I want more time with you in order for you to trust me enough to invest that kind of money, right? So that can be something, the third thing to think about. What am I going to sell? Do I want them to click and buy? Then they need more trust than booking a call, because if you invite them to book a call, the close is going to be on the call, right? So that can be something to think about as well. Nothing is right and wrong. Inside of the Launch Lab, we talk about this together, right? What should you do? And I give you some ideas that this is what I would have done, but at the end, it's your choice. But that is a part of naming and framing and claiming it. So the date, what you're going to sell, and the type of the event. The next thing that you need to decide is your topic. And here I'm not talking about the small topic, I'm talking about the umbrella where everything is under. So for me, and this topic is something you're going to own on the market. It's going to be yours. You're going to claim it. You're going to be the category of one of that topic. And I know when I talk about becoming the category of one, it can sound very scary, right? Oh, I'm not that expert. But here is the thing. If there could only be one expert, you would only have one person that would be an expert that was allowed to stand on a stage and speak in all these topics, right? Let's say sales funnels, you could only have Russell Brunson. Nobody else could be an expert. And we know that is not true, because being the category of one is in the eye of the beholder. It's in the eyes of the person that look into your personal brand. And you're going to grow as a category owner when you do virtual event, but also when you claim something. And for me, my umbrella is virtual events. It's as simple as that. So you're going to write down your umbrella. What is the topic? Is it sales funnels? Is it weight loss in menopause? Is it audience growth on LinkedIn? It's kind of the overall topic. Because under that umbrella, you can have multiple small things. Because I could run an event teaching people only lead generation for events, right? And I could call it Fill Your Event with the Right People Masterclass. I could do that, right? I could run an event on how to sell live in a virtual event. I could run one event only that. But it all fits under my umbrella. It all is in the topic that I want to claim. So the next thing you decide is your overall topic, whatever that might look like. And you can share what topic you work in. If it's maybe a money mindset, it might be some kind of that thing. It might be mental health for men. It doesn't matter. It's an overall topic. Okay. Inside that, you are then going to decide on your kind of smaller event topic that is going to be your first event. And you're going to put a title on it. And the title usually decide what type of topic it is, right? So this is, for an example, Sell and Scale with Virtual Events. It's a kind of broad. It combines the entire umbrella. We talk about a lot of things. But I could do, and I have done, a lot of lead generation masterclasses. Fill your event with the right people, right? So I could pick that one. And I could have that as a title. Fill your virtual event with the right people for service providers or for online service providers or something like that. Because when it comes to the title, always go clear over clever. I know that everyone wants a cool title, but the problem is if people have to pause to get it, you already lost them. And this is a problem that we see with our clients, because they want to make the title so outstanding special that you lose and no one get it. So it's way better to have a boring title like I have, Sell and Scale with Virtual Events. it tells exactly what it is. And then I have a subtitle, because you can always add a subtitle to explain more. Use the power of virtual events to sell your offers and scale your business with simplicity. Right? It tells pretty much what it is. And we have, for an example, another masterclass that is called the LinkedIn Lead Generation Masterclass. No question what it's about. It's a boring title, but it's clear over clever always. Okay. And we have inside the Launch Lab, we have like 100 titles that have been working, that we have picked up during the time, and in a spreadsheet, so people can kind of get some help. I also have a ChatGPT prompt to get help with ideas to not get stuck here. Okay, but remember that, and I can share this with you when it comes to title. I shared yesterday that I built a 5-day challenge and I failed. That was probably 99% due to the title, because the title is the first thing that people are going to see. And when I launched my 5-day challenge, it was for women over 40 that wanted to lose weight. So I knew as the expert, because we are all experts, so I knew as the expert that one of the reasons was that they saw food as an enemy. So I called my workshop, Change the Way You See Food. How many women over 40 sit in their chair eating chips and say, "Oh, I think I need to change the way I see food to lose weight"? Almost zero. And that is why almost zero signed up, because nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted to change the way they see food. So when I hired a coach and I understood the power of copywriting, I changed the topic, or I changed the title to Lose Weight Without Giving Up the Cupcake. That title took my business to $100,000 in sales. I kept that title for my entire business. I just changed, when I started to work with women in menopause, I changed the subtitle to Women in Menopause. Right? So that is how powerful topic or title can be. You need to use whatever they say. So if you're doing clients say, yeah, I want to make $10,000 on we're using Instagram Reels, right? Yeah, you can grow your business with Instagram Reels, or from 0 to 10K with Instagram Reels would be a really good title, because they would get it, because that is what they want. Because in a workshop, you are going to provide what they want, right? People just do what they want. And then inside your program, you deliver what they need in order to get what they want. So we can either ignore what people want and speak over their head, or we can actually provide them. I know that this is what you want. You can get this, but this is what you need to get what you want. But you can't attract them with what they need, right? You need to attract them with what they want. We talked yesterday about using their language in the way that they speak. Same with title. It's brilliant. Yeah, that title was brilliant. It was the best title I have ever had on anything that I ever created. So never came near that again. And it was so funny when I started to work with women in menopause, and I could just add that for women in menopause, right? And I used the same title. It was really, really, really good. But I didn't come up with it myself. It was, of course, my coach, because I didn't know anything about copywriting. So I talked as an expert all the time, and no one understood. So that was the problem. So that is how you claim and frame it. You decide on a type, yeah, and then you put it in the calendar, of course, but you decide on a type of event. Then you decide on what you're going to sell in that event. You decide on the umbrella, the overall topic, and then you pick a title inside of that umbrella. Not specifically copywriting, but titles, landing pages, and things like that we do inside of the Launch Lab, but not copywriting. I'm not a copywriter, right? But we have, during the years, we have been really built really expertise around workshop and event titles and copy, and sales pages, of course, copy, but not overall copywriting. So that is not my expertise, but you learn as you go, right? We have had thousands of clients, so We have also collected things that have been working really well and save those so we can have those an idea. That is why we built up the ChatGPT prompt to use that picks up titles really well. Okay, but that is how you claim and you frame it. So when you have done that, yeah, exactly. Yes, of course, that is what we do. So title, subtitle, and we also do previews on landing pages and things like that. There is a lot of things with the landing page that a lot of people do kind of, I wouldn't say wrong, but it kind of, I have seen so many. So we always in the calls or people post their links so we can kind of go in and look at them, click all the buttons. We always help each other to click and register so we can see that everything works. This is the thing, when you do something yourself, you can read it 1,000 times and think it's perfect. And then somebody else read it and they see something, even a spelling mistake that you have read thousands of times and you didn't see it, right? So that is why we always preview all posts, content, landing pages, sales pages, emails, and things like that. Yeah. So now you have claimed and framed it. You need to create the pillars. I call it pillars. So write that down. So content pillars are your overall core structure of the presentation. So if you run a webinar, you are gonna have pillars. Usually you can see 3 pillars, but you can have, I don't recommend more than 5. It's chunks of content. So it's 1, 2, 3. And when you have a multiple day event, like you can look at this. So we have 2 days. Inside of those 2 days, we have 3 pillars, right? So each day is a topic or a title, and in each day I have pillars, and it's 3 or 6 pillars since we run so a long time, right? So that is the pillars. It's your structure, what you're going to teach overall in your event in kind of chunks. And this is where you start mastering speaking from your heart, we talked yesterday, in a structured way. When you don't have the pillars in place, it's going to be an overall mess, and people are going to be very confused. They're not going to get it, and they can't see the path that they're walking on, and it's just a blur. And we all have been in those kind of events, and the host is amazing. They speak amazing from their heart, but you just don't get it. You can't even see where am I in all this. There is no structure, right? So what you're going to do is that you're going to design your pillars. That is the next. You're going to split your content into small focused chunks. Is chunks a word? Bits maybe? Chunks. I think chunks is a word. This is important. Keep it simple. Don't complicate this, and keep it result orientated, right? So an example is that I have another workshop that we run once per year. That is a 3-day. And the first day I have fill your event with ease, step number 1. Day 2, create the content, big step day 2. And day 3, sell with events. So it's a huge, bigger, like this one you are in here now, but it runs much longer. Day 1, I split into chunks. So I'm going to talk about filling your event. What could I talk about? Visibility, for an example, how to boost visibility. I could talk about messaging. I could talk about lead generation. So I split it down. So if I would do a 1-day event about filling my event, your event with ease, I would do those chunks. Or I could do messaging, I could do mindset, and I could do strategy. That is the structure. So the pillars is just there to help you structure a presentation. So the presentation becomes the bridge over in your offer. It's not a chunk of a bunch of information that's thrown together. It's actually very, very structured. There is a thought behind it, because these should work as a step-by-step building blocks, right? And sometimes if we don't have these building blocks, it becomes like an information dump and no one really gets what it is about, okay? Two things is very important when you create these. It should be easy to teach. Do not pick something in your program that you have that is complicated for you to teach, because you are going to make it very hard for yourself. The second thing, and of course, they should be easy to understand. Don't pick anything that you struggle to explain to your audience, because it's going to be a mess and it's going to be a stressful event. Less is more here. So this should be easy to teach, easy to understand, and it should lead your audience towards your offer. I said it yesterday, I could do an event around a topic that is very popular online. I could do, for an example, write your landing page using AI in seconds, right? And a lot of people would sign up. But then selling the launch lab would make no sense, because inside, yes, do I have chat GPT prompts that we use? Absolutely. But it's not a program about building copy using AI. So it doesn't bridge. I hope you get that. Even if it's very close, it bridges bad. It need to be something that bridge into that offer that you want to sell. So the natural next step is going to be your offer. They're not going to sit there and say, what? And we did this mistake, is I think it's 2.5 years ago. My business partner, she hosted an event. We got so many leads, and she talked a lot about the topic, the clarity, I think it was, and then she sold a messaging, so that it was a little bit of it didn't really match, and right away it failed, because there was the next natural step wasn't it. So think about that. And one thing that comes up here that people are very worried about when they design these pillars and they decide what they're going to teach, because you're going to teach and show your expertise by teaching. Am I giving away too much? I always get this question. I am afraid that I give too much, so they're not going to buy. I think a lot of people think that way. That is not possible, okay? And because you can't give away too much when your content is rooted in leadership, right? And what you do, what happens, people think people didn't buy because you gave away too much. They didn't buy because they got too much. They didn't buy because they got overwhelmed. There is a fine line to walk on. And we are very guilty, and you are going to do this mistake. It's a fine line to walk on, to give away enough for people to take action on, or for people to make a decision on, and give away too much to overwhelm. It's a fine line. And that can only be more and more perfect by running the reps. I'm just going to say it. But there is absolutely no way you can give away too much if people didn't buy because they see, oh, I got everything. If they feel that way, they are overwhelmed, right? Because the more you serve, the more credibility you are going to build, and the higher the conversion is going to be, right? There is no person on this planet that came to a workshop and said, oh, you gave me absolutely nothing. I don't understand this. I can't see that this can work for me. I absolutely don't believe it. But here, take my $3,000. No one's, right? We don't do that. We need to have enough information to be able to make a decision. We need to know that this person actually knows what they're talking about, right? Now more than ever, I would say, right? You want to know that this person knows what they're talking about. So you need to teach to show your expertise, but a fine line to walk on when it comes to overwhelm. That is the thing, right? And it can only be perfect by doing the reps. I'm just going to say it. There is no magic pill for not overwhelm. What we do for an example, in the launch lab, is that we of course talk about this, and I can hear right away, usually when people start talking about their event, I can right away say that, oh, too much. You cut the content. It's way less is more here, and lead more and teach less, okay? And if you're afraid that you give away too much, you probably are going to overwhelm people. So you need to cut the content, okay? And so that is usually what happens. So that you can leave aside. So when you have created the pillars, so you know, step by step, I'm going to teach this and this and this, and then comes my offer. You're not filling this with content. And here is the biggest difference. So before we just taught people, we just throw in information and we taught people and we were good. And that doesn't really work anymore. We can't sell a how-to course with how-to content. If I go back and look at the 5-day challenge I had when it comes to how to create a webinar, I taught almost the entire, it was like a course. It was like a course over the days, right? And I still sold my program, no problem. People still bought it, right? Now that doesn't work because that information that I taught, people can get that from ChatGPT. But even if they already have it from ChatGPT, something is still missing because their webinars doesn't convert. So what is missing? Leadership is missing. Someone that goes before them is missing. Accountability is missing, right? All those kind of pieces that you have to offer is what's missing. Your blueprint, your conviction behind your entire business in the way that you help people, it's rooted in conviction because you so strongly believe in it. That is missing because information alone won't make us successful. Because if that was enough, we all would be skinny, wealthy, best relationship in the world because the information out there, it's already there. So something else needs to be done in the content. So when you structure and you start putting in the content, you want to think about that you must lead people to a decision through clarity, through emotion, through structure inside of the content and energy, right? And when we create what we call decision-making content, it shifts confusion to clarity. The audience comes in very confused. Oh my God, I have all this knowledge. I know I want to do this, but I bought this book, I bought this course, I did this and this and this, and still I'm sitting here totally confused. You want to turn that into clarity by leading them. And you want to show them what they did in the past didn't work and what they need to do instead, right? And you want to position your offer as the obviously next step after this. And of course, the content is going to build the like, know, and trust for you and your brand. And this is about more than information. It's more about impact. It's about shifting beliefs on the audience. They come in here with mindset block and beliefs that I can't do it. I don't know if this is working. I have bought so many courses, blah, blah, blah. All those kind of things that we have. You're going to shift those beliefs with the content. You're going to do mindset shifts. It might be that they have a mindset block that you're going to unlock, right? Awareness breakthroughs. Some people are not even aware of stuff. And when they have gone through your content, they're going to be aware that, oh my God, this is the missing piece. It's like a light bulb. It's like you speak right into my brain, right? It's going to have small tangible wins because people are going to leave actually gotten wins. And they're going to say like, wow, this was better than I paid for before. Right? This was amazing. I'm going to go back. I'm going to try this and I'm going to go back. Okay. So, and you want to have them to have clarity on the next step and say like, wow, I have kind of never seen it this way before, but now I can actually see myself doing this. I can see that this has been missing. I can see that this is my future, right? I don't think anyone here don't believe that a virtual event would actually make you money, right? That it would actually get you clients. I would actually build my list if I only got this right, right? It's not like you sit here and say, this absolutely doesn't work, right? Even if you might have felt so when you joined yesterday that, I don't know if virtual events actually works. Now you probably believe it could actually work. And that is what the content needs to be. And that doesn't happen by throwing in more information. It doesn't work. So bridge, think bridge. You're going to bridge into your offer, not put in more information. You're going to bridge and you're going to ask yourself, my dream client enter here, being who? With mindset, these mindset block. What kind of objections do they have? What have they tried before? And how can I unlock that throughout the content? For an example, a huge objection today, you have it, is time. If you don't unlock that objection inside of your content by talking about that problem, when you end that masterclass, they are still gonna have, I don't have time. So you need to unlock that. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, because this is leadership, okay? So you're gonna show them the path they have been missing. They're gonna say, wow, this can work for me. You're gonna paint the picture. What if this you have done, rubbish, right? Don't do that. This is it. You want them to see the future with your system, okay? With your, whatever you call it, system, blueprint, whatever you call your, what it is that you sell, right? Your solution. You want them to be able to see the future with a solution. So inside, when you create the content, you need to think about this. You don't unlock a mindset block with just teaching. I could sit here and teach my entire program, just teaching, do this, right? And you would still sit there, I can't see that this is going to work. You would still do that if I didn't show how it's going to work, right? Leadership and showing the path through presence and clarity. Exactly. I know this work because I have gained so much clarity. Oh, thank you, Michelle. And that is the whole idea. I want you to leave this workshop, even if you don't join the Launch Lab, I want you to leave this workshop gotten value. And you can see that, oh my God, I can actually do this, right? And that is important. We also talked yesterday, and you can go back to that, about the psychological buying triggers, that you have the social proof storytelling, you have the scarcity, you're going to have a deadline when either you remove bonuses or you close the cart, right? Reciprocity, you give value here. I give value to you, and then you receive. It's not like you are going to get first, right? Authority, you stand and speak, you lead people, you show them the way, right? Emotional connection, obvious. Which means you have to think about, do I actually have a scarcity in place in my event somewhere? Yeah, it's usually is when you close cart, okay? And that is naturally going to lead into conversions, because your role is not to be a teacher, it's to be a leader, okay? Teachers, there is enough teachers. ChatGPT is a good teacher, right? But it can't lead you. It can't be there and say to you, okay, here, I'm going to show you the path. Okay, this is what you want to do. This is how you need to see it, right? Because it doesn't have that. It can't hold you accountable. A leader do that. You're going to lead with confidence. You're going to guide them with your conviction about the topic and move them very emotionally and kind of mentally, right? And that is why energy and reps is so important. Okay, you get back the energy you project. If I would show up here talking about this, like this, yeah, you should do a lead generation. You would do the same. But if I would lean in and say, you would do lead generation, you would be, yeah. Right? Energy you project is the energy you're going to get back, which means the more you practice, the more you run your reps, the higher the energy. Unfortunately, this is why a lot of people's longer event doesn't convert, because it takes a skill set and running the reps to be able to hold that high energy for 9 days in a row, even 3 days in a row. So what happens is that first day one, woo, high energy, right? A lot of people are joining. Day two, naturally, less people are joining. It's just the way it is. But you get affected. So you're, what? And your energy start projecting to the people that are not even there. So your energy is not in the people right in front of you. Your energy is out to the people that didn't show up. So your energy start drop. And the more your energy drop, the more the audience energy drop. And day three, even less people show up. And that is when you open cart. It's set up to fail. So when you do multiple day event, the running the reps is even more important, because you need to learn how to hold energy no matter what, 5 days in a row. Even if just one person shows up the last day, you need to be there, give it your all, because that is the person you should focus on. The energy should focus on people right in front of you, right? I'm finding that sales in an exchange of energy more so than emotion. Absolutely. Because when people invest, they are in the energy of investment. They invest in your energy. So when you, I don't think anyone here think if I join the launch lab, it's going to be bad energy. You already feel the energy we work with, right? Because I invite you to be a part of that energy. And people buy into energy. A leader have high energy. We all know it. Great leaders out there that have an aura of energy around them, and we buy into that. And of course, that doesn't may happen the first time. Totally fine. You're going to go through a lot of stages as a speaker, but somewhere along the way, you are going to go back and look at your first events, and you're going to say, wow, that even converted. What a low energy, right? So, and you're going to just get better and better, and that is the beauty, right? So also this, that it's actually live. Can you put this up like a evergreen later? Absolutely. But I usually say, as long as it doesn't really skyrocket in conversions, live always convert better because the energy is there compared to a recording. Even if recordings have high energy, I mean, the energy I'm here, I'm in the recording as well, but you don't have this two-way communication, right? And that is very valuable when it comes to building relationships. So you're going to show up, speak, serve, lead, connect, and build trust and authority. So I have two questions that I want you to write down and ask yourself. How can I lead this person from doubt to a moment of truth where they say, this is exactly what I need, and you are the person? Who do you need to be that? Because it's not so much what you do as it is who you are when you do it. Who do you need to be here in order to take this person that has a lot of doubt into saying, I'm in? Who do you need to be as a person? And then you work towards that. And you try to show up as that person, even if it's scary. Because somewhere along the way, you're going to be that person. You might not be that person today, but you are going to be in that energy of that person. Does it make sense? Right? Or the energy of that person. Some people call it, I think they say, act like your future self or something. I believe that you going to take that energy of that person and try to bring it here, right? So write that question down. How can I lead this person from being here into saying you are the person? Who do I need to show up as? Right? And then you go and show up as that person, okay? And then when you have your chunks, so you have your pillars, and you have created your content that you're going to teach, and you make sure that you cover all those kind of things that we talk about. Now comes the big scary moment when you are going to open cart. And this is where the big energy shift happens. So what happens is that we have high energy, we are amazing, we teach, we have fun, we share stories, and then awkward pitch. So the energy just woof, like this. It almost throws the entire room on its side. And it's natural. It's just that we are uncomfortable, right? So the first thing that I want you to kind of, that is me, yeah. And we have all been there. So don't worry, but we're going to talk about that now. And when you leave this, Anna, you're going to feel so much different. I can promise you that. So I want you to just think when you come talk about this, when you think about this, what type of fears comes up, right? Because you need to identify those in order to grow, because there will be fears coming up when you speak about different types of things. And that is, sales is one of those, right? And you just need to kind of remember that it's going to be scary. It's going to push you outside of the comfort zone, but there is absolutely no growth in the comfort zone. You cannot grow, you cannot scale by being comfortable. It's just the way it is. You don't need to throw yourself out, even if I recommend to just jump. You can go slowly, right? Take baby steps. And that is why a lot of my clients actually start running a webinar or a masterclass instead of a 5-day challenge, because it's less. It's a small step outside of the comfort zone. I mean, we have clients like Claire, for an example. She hadn't done any type of virtual events at all. And we built together a 3-day workshop. And she was so scared, and I was with her because then she was a one-to-one client. So I was with her inside of the workshop. And she did $17,000 in sales. And then she ran it again with more confidence, because now she had done it once and she knew that, oh my God, that was so fun. And a different energy came into the room. And then she made, I think it was $22,000. So almost $5,000 more. Josephine, for an example, when she launched, I think it was in January 2023, she launched a brand new program that was very outside of her comfort zone, because she had never ever taught what we were teaching, or what she was building the masterclass about. 15 clients. Even if she felt she wasn't ready, could I really teach this? Am I really the expert, right? You are that person. You can do this. And you can do that with sales as well. Okay? It's just that it's going to be the uncomfortable parts. We are going to talk about that. Okay? And it's kind of, when we talk about sales, and this is the problem when it comes to people do or teach virtual event, as they talk about sales being something that is specific. So of course it is when we build it, because we built a bridge into the invitation, and then we built out the invitation. So when you build it, it's going to be a different part. But in reality, it is not. So I want you to write down on the workbook or a piece of paper, speaking is selling. Okay? Speaking is selling. And why is that? Because you have actually been selling from the moment you start speaking. You just didn't realize it. So if you understand that when you start your event and start leading people through your content, inside of your pillars, inside of the stories, inside of all the energy that you have, the leadership that you have, the person you show up as, that is when people buy. They don't buy because of your pitch at the end, right? They are already sold before that. And when you realize that, it doesn't become that scary moment, right? Because you have actually already been selling. I have been selling since I started speaking yesterday, but it's not sales in my mind. It's leadership. So write that down, that speaking is selling, because as soon as you speak, you are actually selling. That is going to ease the energy, bad energy around sales. But then I want you also to think about what comes up when you think about sales. Do you feel like it's pushy? Do you feel like it's sleazy, awkward, desperate maybe? There's a lot of things. And the thing is that it's only a definition. It's like a black cat. For some people, a black cat is evil, witch, bad luck, I think, because things like that. It's scary. For some people, a black cat is the most beautiful thing in the world. But it's just a black cat. And these people have decided what that means for me. The black cat for me is this. The black cat for some other person is something else. And it's the same with sales. You define what it's going to be. If you decide it's pushy, slimy, sleazy, whatever, when you stand up and start selling, that is the energy that you are going to project. That you are slimy, sleazy, pushy, salesy, whatever in this moment. And what happens? People pull back, right? Because they're going to be, whoa, right? We have all felt it. You might feel it when you get a DM, for an example. Woo, what, right? So that is the energy kind of people project. And when you sell live, you can't have that energy. So what you want to do is that you want to redefine what sales is for you. And then I always hear, well, I'm not a salesperson. You have been selling since kindergarten, and you were really good at it because you did a lot of bartering. You get this, I get that. If you get my blue toy, I get this. You were so good at it. So what happened? Life and people happened. And you started to redefine what sales was. And all of a sudden you say, oh, sales is slimy, sleazy. because that is how you have been projected by other people. So you need to flip that coin. It starts with you. So I want you to write down, sales is serving. Sales is serving. It's when you serve your audience on the highest level, because it's inside your paid program that the real transformation happen. Okay? Sales is serving. Sales is solutions, because you're helping people get their problem solved, right? It's a gift to the market. We said it yesterday. Sales is energy and belief. If you don't believe in what you have to sell, if you don't believe in your offer, nobody else will, right? And that takes practice. Even if you believe in it, might feel awkward, but if you need to believe in your offer more than anyone else, right? So it's energy, it's belief. The fourth thing is that energy selling is connection and trust, right? And that you started right before when you started speaking, you started to build that trust. Even before the event, you started to build that trust. So you actually started selling before the event. You just didn't think about it as sales. And the last thing I want you to write down is that sales is beautiful. It's the biggest compliment you can ever get. When someone take out their hardworking cash, hand it over to you, and they say to you, I'm in, I'm sold, you are the person, I believe in you, I trust you. I'm going to invest in myself and I'm going to let you lead me. What is more beautiful than that? It's the biggest compliment you can ever get as an online entrepreneur helping a service-based entrepreneur. It's beautiful. When someone says yes, it's amazing. It's the best feeling in the world. And to make that happen, you need to redefine what sales is and understand this is it. It's not slimy, pushy, salesy. It's solution. It's beautiful. And that is why I love to invite people. I could talk about my launch lab, anything else. And it was so fun because there was a client I had a one-to-one call with. And he said that when I talked about the program, it was like I opened the door to a magic kingdom, a circus. And it was just all this inside, and because I was so excited. And he said, I was sold. I needed that excitement, right? Because that is how much I believe in my offer. I could talk about it all the time. And I want you to do that as well. Believe in your offer, believe, because that is how you bring that high energy. And I know we all carry our stories with sales, but try to redefine it. Okay, try to leave those stories. You can't live and move forward by looking in the back mirror. You need to cut that off and look forward to the people that you are here to serve, because otherwise all this stuff is going to be in the middle here between you and your audience. And one easy way to kind of do this is, of course, redefine what sales is, but it's to create what I call an offer bridge. And an offer bridge is the moment you walk, you transit from teaching into inviting people, right? This exact moment, because that is usually where this emotions just boom drops on us, and we just, oh my God, now I'm going to open cart. I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do. You know, that feeling, right? So the audience journey didn't start when you do your bridge. Your audience journey started when you start speaking. That is the first thing that you need to understand. That is the first thing that is going to ease in the energy, the bad energy of the bridge, is to understand that the journey started when I started speaking, not when I started my pitch. That is not when their journey started. It started an hour ago. Okay? That is first thing. The second thing is that you are going to take the word pitch out of your, what you say, vocabulary. You're never going to say it again. Okay? Because there is a different energy in the word pitch compared to the word invitation. So you can just feel the energy. Teaching, 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 pitch. Or teaching, 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 invite. It's an invitation. It's not a pitch, it's an invitation. You're inviting people to move forward in their life and get what they want with your support, your help, your program, whatever it is that you're selling. You're not pitching them a program, right? You're inviting them to continue. It's a different thing. And I don't believe in pitching. I don't pitch. I just invite. For you who wants to continue with me, working with me, you who wants to have my help to build out your virtual event, right? Here, this is it. I'm inviting you to join. Okay? I'm not pitching you. I'm inviting you to come into this energy. Different thing. So move away from pitching and move into inviting. So the simple bridge that you can write down, you can copy this right off what I'm going to say. You teach and you teach, and then you just say, I hope that you have loved what I have shared with you today. If you are ready to take the next step and XYZ, I have an invitation for you. It's the simplest bridge and the best bridge you can absolutely have. It's not like you say, okay, so now I have a program, right? There is no awkward. It's just that I hope you have loved this time with me. And if you're ready to actually go and create your event, I'm inviting you to the launch lab. That is the bridge. It's the simplest thing, but it's going to take away so much bad energy from pitching. Okay? So remove pitch from your alphabet, no word that you're going to use, replace it with invitation, and boom. There you have the absolute best energy shift when it comes to sales, and it's going to make you more sales than anything else. Okay? So then we have the last thing that I wanted to quickly cover. When it comes to maximize your sales, there is of course a lot of strategies to do this, but I want you to practice energy. The higher the energy, the more sales. The better leadership, the more sales. And this comes only by running the reps. Okay? Try to avoid bringing in your own objections. When I say that, I mean, when you go into your workshop, don't bring in stuff like, I don't think they can afford. Because that energy you're going to project, and you're going to project, I don't think I have this offer, but I don't think you can afford it. Right? And people are going to feel it. You're not going to say it, but it are going to have that energy. That is your objections, that I don't think they can afford my offer. Oh, I think this is the wrong people. Oh, I don't think that Aquino here is ready. That is it's like we decide what other people are going to do instead of just letting people do what they want to do. And it's a very awkward thing that we do, but we do it. I can sometimes do it as well. I need to remind myself, because when we have so much different pieces in our business, and someone joins up for this, and then I think, oh, I think that person should be here. It's not for me to decide what that person are going to do, but it's very easy for us to do it. So try to avoid those. So high energy, do not bring your own objection and things into the presentation. Okay? Believe in your offer more than anyone else. You know that you're good. You know that you can help people. Make sure that people can feel that conviction. And the last thing is, of course, running the reps. It's just what it is, right? It's, of course, running the reps. That is how you build mastery. That is how you're going to sell like crazy, is when you master whatever it is that you're doing. It doesn't matter what it is. Does not matter what it is. It can be copywriting. If you want to be good at copywriting, yeah, you need to write. It's as simple as that. We can't be an expert in copywriting if we never write. We can all agree. But when it comes to virtual events, it's like I run one event, it doesn't come. So me becoming a copywriter and say, okay, I did this email and only 2 people open it, so I can't be a copywriter. That is not the truth, right? It comes from building mastery. So then I want you to kind of do a little bit of a numbers game, or numbers when you have left this. We talked about what you're going to offer. You set a goal, right? And then I want you to do easy numbers so you can actually see what is possible. You don't need to do it now. But let's say my offer, we need to do it simple because I need to count this in my head. Let's say our offer is $1,000. And I run my first event and I get 50 people registered. And I make 5 clients. That is $5,000, right? So that is how you can count. And the next cycle, you're going to increase the energy. You are going to be better at lead generation. You are going to do more invitations. So of course, there are going to be more people joining. So that is what happens. The first time, maybe you have 50 people. The next time you have 75 people. So then you need to start counting. Okay, if I got 75 people and I closed 5 people out of 50, how many people would I close now? Maybe 7, because your energy is higher. All of a sudden, that is a $7,000, right? If it's a $1,000 offer. And then you get 100 the next time. So I want you to do a little bit of thinking. If I run my event, one this year, if you want to, then I run one in January, March here. Do a little bit of a numbers on those, because that is going to help you see the future of what it actually can do, because you're going to get more people signed up and you're going to convert higher every single time. It's going to grow. Of course, if you grow your audience, so you come new people, otherwise you're going to stop grow somewhere. But that is, of course, something that you already know now that you need to do. So there is no limit, because there's no limit how many people you can have in the room. We talked yesterday about Alex Hamosis event. How many people did he have? Right? The technology is the limit, which means that there is no limit of how many people you actually can close if you want to close that many people in bulk, of course, right? So that is what a little bit what I want you to do. Another thing that I want you to do now is start putting it all together. Use the workbook, the 2 pages that have just the sentences of time, date, and things like that. Start working on those pages and go back and rewatch these recordings. They're up until Sunday. So you make sure that you start actually creating your event in your mind. Okay, so you can see this is my pillars that I'm going to have. I'm going to say this in my little bridge. Of course, we haven't talked about how to do the invitation, but we would be here for 20 days if I would, or even several months if I would teach you everything. But that little piece with the bridge is going to help you massively, more than a lot of things, other things, that sales stuff that you have tried. So write down that little bridge and start putting it together. Okay. And then, of course, for you who are interested and want to continue with me, the Launch Lab is open. It's open until Sunday midnight Eastern Standard Time. So I work Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in Europe, yeah, it's Monday 6 a.m. something like that, I think it is. So 6 a.m. in the morning, Monday. But what happens then is that this is a founding offer, founding members. So on Monday, I am going to close it because I want to work with the people that join. And if we are going to get a client spotlight out, we need to get going. We cannot kind of be everywhere. So we're going to close the doors. The next time I open the doors will probably be in the December, but it's going to be at a higher investment. And $145, which is this, is an amazing investment for the value that is inside, my expertise. And of course, you get Josephine. She's not here, but you have Josephine as well, my business partner. She's a LinkedIn expert and helping people building scalable offers. So you have her as well. So we are two coaches all the time. So it's an amazing investment for what you actually get, and you can cancel it all anytime. There is no one, you need to be a member 3, 5, 12 months. It's a monthly. You just cancel if it's not for you, or if you get your event up and running and you feel, okay, I got this. Yeah. And you don't want to be inside our container anymore, you can just cancel. Okay. So you have everything. We do bi-weekly live sessions. Those are right now on Mondays. Mondays, same time as this, 12 p.m. So bi-weekly calls. And it's not just Q&As, it's more implementation, discussions, we do all those kind of things, and including questions. If we have a lot of people, we might start splitting groups or splitting depending on time zone, because I don't believe in huge groups. I believe in groups so everybody gets the help that they actually need. Okay, we have a community where you can ask any questions in between. Inside of the portal, you can ask questions below the sessions. I have opened up the comment sections inside, and you're going to follow the path that I showed you. You decide on Monday. We have the kickoff call on Monday together for anyone that is here. In that call, we decide, okay, what do you want to do? I want to do this. Okay, then you start there, you start there, you start there. So everybody knows what to do. And that is why we have the kickoff call on Monday, so everybody knows step by step what they are going to do. So that is pretty much how it works. And this is the same system I have been using and redefined since 2017. Using, and I have done all the trial and error, of course. If you join and you are interested, for example, I would like to run a paid event. Yeah, we just pivot a little bit because I have done those as well. I've run paid, a lot of paid events. I'm going to run one next year, a paid 3-day event. So we can pivot whatever it is that we teach into how to actually sell tickets to it instead. It's the same system Claire used that I shared about for her. She got 500 leads. She closed 17,000. We have, for an example, Sarah. She did her first masterclass, closed 5 clients, and that was a medium ticket $1,500 offer. But we do also have Lisa. She made a little more than, I think it was 17 or so, with a lower ticket offer. So everything is possible, and we just talk lower ticket, higher ticket, medium ticket. The event looks different, and we talk what you are going to do. So you're not on your own, absolutely not. We are there to support you. We are there to challenge you, and we're there to also push you out of the comfort zone. That is why we run the client spotlights in the first place. It was a way for me to hold my clients accountable, to make sure they created their landing pages and put it out in the world, because then they couldn't go back. And that is how I got a lot of people to actually run event and make money that was so scared they couldn't do it. So that I just can say, because we need a little push in the right direction sometimes. So we do that as well. So everything is inside. You have all the information on the page. And I shared the link. I'm going to share the link again on the page. And as I said, I close it on Sunday, and that is because it's a founder member. I'm going to increase the investment. I'm not going to open it until December with a higher investment. And we have a kickoff call. So when you come in, you're going to do, before Monday, there is a form you can fill out to help me create the resources if there is anything you want to do that I might not have inside. But also there is a speaker journey that I want everyone to do to identify where you are. So I can help you, because there's a lot of mindset stuff that is inside. We work a lot about mindset around sales, lead generation, showing up, energetic, and those kind of things. I guess you already understood that. Maybe I don't even need to say it. So before Monday, that is open. Then on Monday, we're going to pick your path, and then everything opens, but there is not going to be overwhelmed, because you have already decided on your path that you are going to take. So you're not going to be confused here. Even if you see all the trainings open up, you just follow whatever we decided. Okay. So thank you so much for these 2 days. We kept it actually a little bit under 90 minutes. Is anyone here that have a questions? Please share. Selling a serving sales solution. Exactly. And it's not even sales strategy, and it's going to do more for your sales than a strategy ever could. A lot of these things that I have talked about, I think you have seen now, it's not strategic in the way. Do we need all the strategies? Yes. Do we need to know how to create a title, a subtitle, a landing page, all those kind of things? Absolutely. That is what we have the launch lab. But there are so many things that we, or I, have discovered throughout my journey with my clients that we support and do trainings around in our clients' workshop and things like that not a lot of people do. Because we might buy a membership, and then you have the Q&A sessions, and that is it, right? not a lot of people talk about what it actually requires energetically, how you can become a lead people, because it looks so different when we built events. And that comes from all the events that I have hosted. I'm just gonna say it's the running the reps. So thank you so much, Anna. And I would love for everyone, of course, just the Launch Lab. You can just ask yourself, would it be worth the investment to come in and get my support for $145 per month? Stay as long as you want to. We have so good energy that you will never ever want to leave, but you can if you want. Okay, you can if you want. So thank you so much. I will send out the recording now when System.io is up and running. So I will send out the recordings to you, and so you get everything. And those are up until Sunday midnight. So fill out the workbook, continue working. If you have any questions that comes up, you come into the Facebook group. You have that link in the emails. You come into the Facebook group and you ask, because I'm not gatekeeping anything. If you have a question, ask, and I will answer. I'm not going to say to you, no, I'm not going to answer that. Okay, come in. Yes, Michelle, send an email if you have any questions. No problem. Send a DM if you have any questions on Facebook. Not maybe Instagram. I'm not on Instagram that much. Facebook or LinkedIn. There you can send a DM so I actually see it. Send an email. Okay. So thank you so much for everyone that has been here. Been a pleasure, even if we had so many tech issues. It's been a two days of chaos, but this shows that it doesn't matter. The energy overrides any tech, whatever. It has been an amazing room with you. So I hope to see you inside or in my community or in social media. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye.